The Porter 5 Forces model is a model that identifies and analyzes 5 competitive forces that shape every industry and helps determine an industry's weaknesses and strengths. The 5-force analysis is frequently used to identify an industry structure in order to determine a corporate strategy. The 5 forces that are analyzed within this model are threat of new entrants, power of suppliers, power of buyers, threat of substitution, and competitive rivalry. In the previous video, Sean described the list of rivals and substitutes found when conducting a competitor analysis on Constellation Brands. These rivals and substitutes were then analyzed within the Porter model, and our conclusions were that the threat of substitutes is medium-high, and the power of rivals, also known as competitive rivalry, is high. For competitive rivalry, their power was determined to be high considering the focus on premiumization and available equivalent products throughout the industry. Also, companies like Anheuser-Busch InBev, who specializes in beer, and Diageo, who specializes in spirits, are 2 companies that will be seeking to take advantage of current and future consumer trends and the e-commerce business, just like Constellation. Overall, with continued growth of companies' portfolios and massive revenue to be made, this industry is extremely competitive. As for the threat of substitutes, their power is considered medium-high because of the immense growth of the marijuana industry due to legalization. Consumers are starting to view cannabis products as a healthier alternative to alcoholic beverages. Cannabis could be the ultimate demise of the alcohol industry if companies do not begin and continue investing into cannabis, which can already be seen with Constellation's alcoholic beverage industry rivals already looking to invest. Additionally, tobacco and nicotine products are a significant staple substitute, with companies like Philip Morris and Zyn performing extremely well, especially with the younger generations. After analyzing the substitutes and rivals or competitive rivalry, our group determined the following for the last 3 forces. The barriers of entry within the alcoholic beverage industry are extremely large. Becoming a market leader in this industry requires a giant amount of capital and time in order to eventually compete with the global leaders such as Constellation Brands and Molson Coors. Because of this, the majority of new entrants are not entering the market to compete with big-name companies. Rather, they are entering to be purchased by one of these giant companies. To contrast, the consumer trend of lower calorie and ready-to-drink beverages, like the massively popular hard seltzers, is something that new entrants are seeking to take advantage of, especially if these new brands are able to build a loyal consumer base. Although these 2 points contrast, our group determined that the barriers are too large to overcome. Therefore, the threat of new entrants was given a rating of low. As the demand of raw materials to produce alcoholic beverages increase, so do the amounts of suppliers. More and more suppliers entering the market allows for Constellation and its competitors to have a large number of companies to choose from when purchasing raw materials. There is little to no monopolization within the beverage production market either, with one exception being the limited number of lightweight glass bottle producers in Canada. To contrast, there is a lengthy process required in becoming a licensed raw material wholesaler, and as of right now, that has deterred possible new suppliers. We could see this issue dissolved, though, if President Biden proposed executive orders of reducing the length and cost of this process are carried out effectively, or if laws are changed. Due to these contrasting points, we determined that the power of suppliers is medium. In the alcoholic beverage industry, there are a multitude of available substitute products and very low switching costs. Furthermore, growing consumer demands of healthy alternative beverages, as well as low or non-alcoholic beverages, are causing companies to scramble to make innovations. Due to a massive consumer base within this market, Companies will need to answer to the growing demands of consumers as they continue growing their portfolios and increasing market share within this industry. As explained before, these consumers have a large variety of brands to choose from. Therefore, they do not need to solely rely upon Constellation for their consumption of alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages. A contrasting point would be many consumers' immense loyalty to specific alcoholic beverage brands such as Corona, White Claw, Jack Daniels, and Busch. Due to this, our group determined that the power of buyers is medium-high. Once again, the competitive rivalry was given a rating of high, the power of buyers and threat of substitutes was given a rating of medium-high, the power of suppliers was given a rating of medium, and the threat of new entrants was given a rating of low. Thank you for watching my video on the Porter 5-force analysis.